Sweet. Well, let's get things started then. Get right to the point. Man, we had a terrible time starting this episode today.
Yeah, this is the worst one yet. We've had some doozies.
Yeah, which is strange because we were having trouble with Discord a couple months ago, which is why we switched to Skype. But then Skype was causing problems, so we switched back to Discord, and it looked like it was about to work, but then it wasn't, and both our computers freaked out. So shit was happening. I have no idea why. We are not live streaming this episode. We are recording it without any of that. Hopefully everything runs smoothly. Just that. If not, we'll be trying again sometime soon. And I don't know why I'm saying this, because I will probably re-say a whole bunch of stuff and it won't be relevant then. Anyways, if you guys didn't know, this is episode 23 of the Captain's Log, one of the many podcasts that we do here at the Whatnauts. That is our off-topic show, so each week you get something brand new. My name is Kyle Springer, and along with me for the ride, Eric Mannix.
Yo.
What is going on, dude?
I want to kill my computer. That's what's up. Fuck technology. It's a series. It's a series.
Yeah.
Called Fuck Technology.
Yeah,
it's
we should change the name of this podcast to Fuck Technology.
Seriously.
And then we'll get thousands of views. We'll be famous. We'll be rock stars, and we'll actually have good technology that will help us make a better show.
Oh yeah.
But dude, this has been a crazy week. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm excited to dive in and get right onto it.
Oh, dude, I thought that was the ice cream man, Emma. I was like, what is that noise?
I was kind of wondering what that was. I was like, I hear music in the background.
One of my children's loud-ass toys. Because every children's toy, the fucking people that make children's toys don't have kids, clearly, because every little kid toy lights up and makes noise. And, like, fucking no one in their right mind would do that. It's
that, or it has to be business people who do have kids who know what they hate,
and it's other people.
Like, I'm gonna do the thing. Yeah, like I'm gonna do the thing that I hate because I know my kids will love it, and I know that other kids will love it.
It's some bullshit, is what it is.
That's what it is. I don't have a good segue for children's toys.
You know, I don't either. That's been my whole fucking life for the last 7 years. There's no artful way to get around it.
I was trying to find some way. I mean, if I'm really stretching, I could mention something about video games here and have that be the segue to the fact that there has been a lot of penises in the news this week.
Yeah, there's yeah. So, I kind of want to do I want to do a Nightwing podcast now called Batman's Dick, and it's going to be all about Dick Grayson. You can start with his time as Robin, and then work through the Nightwing years, his replacement as Batman stuff. But yeah, call it Batman's Dick. I mean,
Welcome to Batman's Dick. Brought to you by the Whatnauts. Yeah, dude, so there's the Batman one, but even before that was Taod, President Trump.
Oh yeah, I blocked that out. I had blocked that out. Now it's back. Now it's back in my head again.
So both of these have been absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
Because I play a lot of video games, and there's been a lot of Nintendo news recently. And so when I wake up to my news feed filled with stuff about Mario Kart and Toad, I'm thinking, hell yes, there is news on a new Mario Kart game, which would absolutely make no sense because they're still making the Mario Kart 8 is still $60. Like, yep. That's the last one they did, and that was on the Wii U. And of course, to my horror, that is not why Mario Kart was in the news.
Yep. Eating that particular mushroom will not make you grow larger.
Yes.
You want to stay far away from that deranged.
Stay far away from that one.
Nah.
Oddly enough, in the recent Nintendo Direct, there was footage of, I guess, Toadette jumping in one of their new games, finding a mushroom, eating the mushroom, and then turning into Peach. So that was also strange.
Weird.
It's like, wait a minute, what is Toadette Peach? What is going on here? So some crazy stuff happening in the world of video games, but that was not the end of it.
Oh my god, Emma, seriously. I'm gonna take this now.
The end of the Ice Cream Man here on the
it's like
Whatnauts
this
podcast.
fucking this glow bug fucking butterfly thing, and she just keeps pressing it, and she literally put it on the floor and was dancing around it. Like, what the hell? Of course, she didn't touch it until I started recording, very intentionally. Hadn't touched it all day. The minute I started recording, it's like, oh, you're doing something.
Joined a cult.
Now it's time.
She's joined a cult and has started dancing around strange singing bugs. She has a Chuck E. Cheese cape on.
Yeah, she took the cape off. She's gone through about 3 different wardrobe changes since you saw her 20 minutes ago.
Anyways, again, terrible segue back to penises in the news. The Toad one was not the only one in the news. Batman had his dick swinging all over the comic books recently. Talk to me about this. You work in a comic book store.
Yeah.
How did you find out about this?
I found out about it via Twitter, because I don't read a lot of like the single issues. There's DC started this new line, the Black Label series, and it's kind of just supposed to be the best creators doing kind of out of continuity, just whatever story you want to do. So if you want to do like five issues on Wonder Woman or 12 issues on Batman or whatever the hell it is, you can just do that, and
which is genius.
Yeah, I like the
surprised they don't have more of that.
I like the premise, because not everything needs to be in canon and require a ton of reading. So like on paper it sounds really good, and a lot of the creators and books they announced sound pretty promising. The first one out came out this last Wednesday, and that was Batman the Damned, I believe it was called.
Batman Damned, yeah.
And
by Brian Azzarello, and I don't remember the artist's name.
Oh my god, why is face on his...
I don't have it pulled up here. Dr. Interwebs, help me out. Okay, this is going to take some time. People listening to this might know.
I'm so tired. I'm like so tired. Like I know it. I know this pencil here.
Well, as you're looking that up, yeah, Batman Damned came out this past Wednesday. As of recording this, it'll be, I guess, over a week ago.
There we go. Fuck, that was driving me crazy.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess the Black Label is also, like, technically if they want to do more adult work, they can.
Yeah.
Like, is that correct? I mean, it obviously has to be, because they printed these drawings of Batman's dick all over the comic book. And yeah, apparently it's in the single issues of the comic, but pretty much immediately the internet was ablaze, and it was all over Twitter, and I guess according to the reaction, DC took down the digital version and edited it so it doesn't show it. And apparently in the collected version of this, it's going to have the edited version, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
What's your stance on like nudity in media and entertainment and stuff, because I'm for it. I think there needs to be more of it so it's not as sexualized, but I think we still need to kind of get over that hump, no pun intended, of just like, hee, that's Batman's penis.
Yeah, I'm not against nudity, I'm not a prude. I might be mildly prudish, I guess, but like, yeah, I
mean, like, it's not something that needs to be in there.
Batman's,
like, I don't
Batman's,
want it needlessly.
Batman's dick did not offend me. I have not read the book, so I don't know the context of it. It looks like he was just walking around in the back.
Apparently on that page, he's just returning to the Batcave and takes off his bat suit and just like walks off panel, from what I gathered from the internet. So it's not a sexual situation.
Yeah, like he's not aroused.
Sexualized.
He's not aroused or anything. He's walking around. I mean, he
doesn't have a raging boner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like that could have gotten awkward. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So like I feel like in that setting it's fine, but DC's argument was, or for taking it out of further editions, was like, well, it doesn't really serve the art and it doesn't really serve the story. To which I say, well, so does the color of the Batcave walls. Like, who the fuck cares,
Well, if you had a problem with it, you should have taken it out. Yeah, no, before it released.
They're
it's really that they're
just
bowing to pressure, which is like whatever. But no,
I don't even feel like there's been pressure. It's just like, oh, wow, hey, I mean, there's Batman's penis.
I'm sure some people complain, but people are gonna complain about fucking everything. It's in 2018. You can't do anything without some motherfucker having a problem with it. That's true. That's just where we've come with the fucking complain about goddamn everything in society.
Strange stuff.
Yeah. So I thought it was funny. The best part about it was that it did sell out instantly because everyone heard about Bat Dick and like and then the fact that DC said whenever they reprint it and stuff it'll be edited. So the only way to get the Bat Dick is to get the first print. So of course everyone I'm sure went to every comic shop and online store and whatever and bought them all up. And it's Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo are a really good team. They work well together. And they've worked together
the art is
on Batman,
fantastic.
A couple times already. And just on a couple projects together. So like the book would have done well just because, they work well together and it's Batman. But the fact that it's got him nude in it. People lost their fucking shit, and it sold out way quicker. It would have sold out anyway, but it sold out in like a day.
Just move on, people.
It's interesting.
Grow
it's
up.
definitely sparked some, debate. Like I was following some of my friends on Twitter having conversations about it because. Of course, we see female nudity in comics all the time, and people tend to not bat too much of an eye about it, and so
titties everywhere.
Yeah, and so, but then you see a flaccid penis, and people are like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And then suddenly we become fucking like moral crusaders. It's like, really? So I don't know. So it's like I'm all about equal opportunity, So like if you're gonna show boobs and stuff, then I'm sorry, it's gonna have to be. You have to see some dicks. You're gonna have to see some shredded abs. You can see some ass. Like you got if we're gonna do cheesecake, we need some for people that are attracted to men as well. That's only fair.
A lot of women read comics.
Yeah, and the
that's
gay
all
dudes.
I'm saying.
Let's not forget that.
A lot of gay dudes.
Or the bi folks or whatever, man. If you're attracted to men and you've been missing out in comics, and even with the Batman thing, it's still like the male kind of like power fantasy thing because he's still like super shredded and good looking and and whatever. And so
was it Chris Anka or Kevin Wada that did the like swimsuit, like the superhero swimsuit
Kevin Wada
edition?
Yeah, his stuff's great.
It's one of them because they both do artwork like that.
I'm pretty sure it was one of them. Maybe they both did. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm all about like DC has their Bombshells line, and it's like cute kind of retro pinup style versions of like Harley Quinn and those characters, and they look really cute. Like they just have like their hair up in cool little designs, and they have like cool fishnet stockings and things like that. They look like sexy ladies from like the 40s or whatever, and like it's a cool line. They've got like comics and statues and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, and they just look like kind of classic.
But even those weren't very sexual.
Oh no, they're
at all. It was just like, hey, they're kind of styled.
No, that's
stuff.
and that's not my point. They started that line, and I thought it was pretty cool. But then they started doing some of the guys too in that kind of pinup style as well. Like they've done like Aquaman and a couple others now, and I think that's cool. I don't think there's enough.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough of that, so I was glad to see, I don't know, in that regard.
You guys have all seen Jon Snow's penis.
Yeah, DC
grow
seems
up.
to be
This is
taking
just
more
Batman.
chances, yeah. Well, and like back in the day, Marvel did like swimsuit, issues and things like that. And
so, if Batman was to name his dick after someone I mentioned this on Twitter, and I hate that it went unnoticed because this question is gold. But if Batman had to name his dick after one of the villains in his rogues gallery, who would it be? Who do you think it would be?
Man.
My vote is for the Red Hood.
Damn.
You mentioned Dick Grayson. That's an obvious one.
I think
I've heard someone else say.
I think Dr. Phosphorus because he fucking glows in the dark, just like a cheap condom would.
I've heard someone else say Lil Wayne.
Oh man.
Someone else was calling it the Batawang.
Yeah, I think he would just call it the Bat Dick. Everything's Bat. Everything's Bat Car, Batmobile, Bat. So just be Bat Dick.
The back shark repellent. The Bat Dick.
Yeah. Or he might just.
Anyways.
I don't know.
Moving on from all of that. Staying in the Batman universe, though, have you seen the screen tests for Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker?
Yeah, and I don't know, man.
What are you thinking?
People seem to be freaking out about it. Like, I'm not impressed, man. I don't know. I think Joaquin Phoenix is insanely overrated as an actor, for one thing. He gets like all this indie cred for some reason. I don't dislike him. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't think he's like terribly amazing.
He hasn't done much in a long time. Or at least nothing that stands out.
Yeah, I've seen
I'm
several
sure
of his
people
movies,
can
and I can't. Like, I never watched something with him and go, oh, he sucks or anything. But then also, like, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head 3 movies I've seen him in, even though I've seen, like, probably 7 or 8. I couldn't tell you much. Yeah. So, like, I don't think he's that great. And it's a weird look. It's a weird design.
So, I just don't understand what they're doing with the movie universe. Like, there was this whole debacle recently with, is Henry Cavill going to still play Superman? Mm-hmm. Is Affleck gonna still be Batman? Who knows? No one knows. And then Henry Cavill released this video on his Instagram that was him in a Krypton weightlifting shirt. It's so strange. And then they have 2 Joker movies in production, and they're not related to each other or the DC. There's the Joaquin Phoenix one.
Yeah, that one I know about.
And then I think there's another one. I think there's one with Jared Leto involved. I think. I could be wrong on that. But still, I don't know what they're doing with the movie, and I don't like seeing him in the clown makeup this past week. It's like, okay, that's a clown makeup. It's not the Joker. But I guess it was a film test, not really a makeup test, so I don't know what that means. But then people were making comparisons to
John Wayne Gacy.
I forget his name now. Yeah, that guy, the clown serial killer dude, and they look oddly similar. But I mean, it's also just kind of a generic clown, so I don't know. I mean, clowns are scary as shit, but I have no idea where they are going with this. So I'm interested because it honestly it looks scary.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily Joker for me. Like this could easily apply to It, and I would be like, okay, that's a clown. I would have the exact same reaction.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Like I don't know if it's still gonna be related to like Batman or if it's gonna be its own like standalone thing, and it seems a little confusing. Also, like there's certain characters that like need some mystery to them, and like me personally, I don't want a
Joker especially.
Yeah. I don't know. Because the Joker's often, I mean, he's overused. I still think he's like a cool villain, but they use him to death, so I get tired of him. But
very true.
When the Joker's written correctly, I feel like there's this balance between like he's supposed to be.
It's fear of the unknown.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be like I feel like when he's done correctly, you actually don't even know if he's crazy or not, or if it's actually like a choice. You know what I mean? Like, because I've seen portrayals where like he's just a lunatic and he's like talking to fish and all kinds of shit, and like that's not interesting to me. If he's just crazy, that's not interesting to me. And if he's just a stone cold sociopath, that's not terribly interesting to me either. There's some kind of balance between the two, where like I don't know, like he just walks over this knife's edge
where you're not sure.
Yeah. That's what I find.
When he has moments of like, holy shit, this guy actually knows what he's doing. That's when it's scary.
Yeah.
But then he goes back. Wait, does he actually know what he's doing?
Yeah.
Is he crazy? I don't really know what he's doing, what he's thinking, who he is, whatever.
Yeah, like I've read stories where like he's dancing around like a buffoon and whatever, but then like someone will say something, he'll like lean over and be like, "I'll fucking kill you," and like, "Oh my god," you know what I mean? And then he'll go back into like dancing around or being an idiot, and you're like, "Oh, okay." So like, I don't know, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go see it. If it's on demand or whatever later, I'll check it out at some point if I can watch it for free. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna pay.
To me, it's just one of those things we haven't seen enough to really know what they're doing.
Even if it looks amazing, I just don't care. Like I just don't like. It's the Joker doesn't need an origin story. He just doesn't. It's the same thing they tried to go back with the comedian for Watchmen and do all these Watchmen stories, and the comedian one was bullshit. I
feel like if they really want to do an origin story, they need to do some kind of like Rashomon thing where it's more it's not about like the Joker is not the main character, right? Mm-hmm. And all of these different people see him in these different ways. And so one person's like, "No, man, I heard he was like this. I heard this is what happened." And so it still does have this mystery of like, I don't like, sure, this was his origin story. This is when he first started appearing. This is possibly what happened, but then there was this guy's version, and maybe that's what happened,
Yeah.
That would be scary. But who knows?
I mean, I think given the proper makeup, and I'm sure he'll wear the actual makeup. I mean, he has to. I think he'll look cool because he's a weird-looking guy to begin with. So, and Joker's kind of a weird-looking dude, and he's kind of exaggerated. So, I don't know. Well, because at his best, if I could boil it down to like the essence of Joker, it's like Batman is supposed to be an agent of order. He's all about law and order and doing the right thing, but also just doing like the legal thing. That's Batman's thing. And then Joker's an agent of chaos, and they're always at play against each other. And so if they can get that right, then I'd be interested in. I don't know. I'd be interested in like the Joker full on being the Joker and actually, just fucking shit up. But like, I just don't need like the origin story part. If you want to make like a Joker movie with him, like just being a crazy fucking son of a bitch, and causing a bunch of mayhem, that could be interesting. But I don't know. Yeah. I feel like that's probably not the route they're gonna take, though. At least from what we've seen so far.
Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out down the road. Well, let's switch gears here a little bit then. Talk about some Marvel news. There's been a lot of Marvel news recently. What did you think of that Captain Marvel trailer?
I really liked it. I thought it was great. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers is one of my favorite Marvel characters. It has been for a really long time, especially for the last few years. And so I've been hyped for the movie, but actually seeing the trailer, still, I'm even more hyped now after seeing it. It looks like they're gonna get it right. I'm really stoked. It does crack me up how many people are freaking about her punching that old lady because they clearly don't fucking read comics and don't understand what a goddamn shape-shifting scroll is. So that's funny to me, but.
Though, I mean, I'd kind of be okay with it actually being an old lady.
My friend Jacoby from work, he actually drew that panel because he's an artist. He's the guy that did the Top Gun theme for me and Jess. He's a great artist. But he drew just that panel, and his caption was, "I hope this is literally the whole movie." I'm like, yes, bless you, child.
That would be amazing.
I'd be okay with that.
So I liked the trailer. I do have to say though, as much as I'm hyped for this movie and to find out what comes next, the trailer kind of felt pretty generic to me though. Like, I don't feel like this was one of their better trailers. Of course, just seeing her fall down into the blockbuster was pretty amazing. But besides that, it just seems like a sci-fi action film. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I am still extremely, extremely excited about this film, though.
Well, what were you expecting it to be like?
Well, I mean, I don't really know what I was expecting because I've not read much of Captain Marvel, so I didn't know like how much this was gonna be an origin story or how much exactly this is gonna tie into Infinity War, or stuff like that. But yeah, to me it's one of those things like if this wasn't for the previous 19 or 20 films, I don't think I'd be as excited as I am for this film. It would still just be like, okay, that looks like a good superhero film.
So that other Joker movie, there's gonna be a Harley Quinn versus the Joker movie that appears to star Jared Leto, at least according to what I'm seeing on Twitter. I just came across it.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know what even they're doing.
Gotcha.
With the Flash, they could do the whole Flashpoint thing and just combine all the universes, or at least explain how there's like a multiverse of different ones that the Flash could. Of course, there's also multiple versions of the Flash. So I'm assuming they'd go with the movie version, but yeah, they could still tie in all that stuff if they like wanted to. I think that would be like probably dumb at this point since there's I don't know, all over the place. Also, everyone sees what Marvel Studios is doing, and then they want to emulate it. It's like, sometimes it's okay to not have everything connected. It's, I mean, in the Marvel Studios vein, I love it, but it doesn't always need to be a thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I've heard a few complaints about the Captain Marvel thing. People, mostly like with Brie Larson's acting and feeling like she wasn't.
Yeah. She seems fine.
Yeah, she seems fine
to me.
The suit
looks fantastic. I'm super stoked.
I don't know what else I've even seen her in, but I think she's fine.
Yeah,
she looks good. Looks the part.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm super stoked. I just don't think it was the best trailer. I don't know. Anyways, other Marvel stuff. I guess they just announced today that Chloe Zhao is going to direct the Eternals for Marvel. That's apparently one of their upcoming movies. I don't know the Eternals literally at all.
They're a group of they're essentially like aliens that were like it's almost like the Prometheus thing or something where they were genetically engineered basically to be gods essentially by the Celestials. They used to show up a lot in the Fantastic Four. Neil Gaiman did a really good miniseries with the Eternals about 10 years ago, and they did an ongoing series after that and only made it like 9 issues. So it's
yikes.
Yeah, and most of their stuff's out of print.
People were only there for Neil Gaiman.
So it was a Jack Kirby creation, and like he did the first solo series of them in like the early 70s, and it only made it like, I don't know, 17 issues or something. So like it was never on their own, they were never that interesting of a concept, or at least they didn't sell well. Like I always thought they were interesting. The Neil Gaiman one was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and the ongoing was pretty cool.
Wondering if this is like if this is Marvel trying to do what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're like, hey, let's take this thing that nobody knows and see if we can catch lightning.
Maybe. I mean, they're definitely going to try to, license every possible thing they can. Unfortunately, I think it's going to turn into another Inhuman situation.
It might.
Is my guess. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, because I actually think the Eternals are pretty cool.
That's actually not a bad idea. I'm wondering, because their whole in the Inhumans things kind of went south real fast. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if they're trying to incorporate the plans they had for the Inhumans into the Eternals, and somehow fitting that into whatever happens post Infinity War Part 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
There's so many things they could do. They could do differently, especially with the whole Fox deal going through, because you're gonna have the X-Men. They've already said that Kevin Feige is gonna be in charge of the X-Men stuff, which is like, well, duh. Like, who was questioning that? But
I was actually just reading something, so I guess listeners won't really notice because I'll have edited it out. But we took a short break because you had to go start your dinner. But I was reading something about Jeff Loeb commenting on the possibility of a Daughters of the Dragon show, and it wasn't anything concrete, but he did mention, once this whole thing with Fox actually goes through, that even the Netflix shows will have so many more characters that they can play around with.
Yeah. So I think what's going to happen out of... do we even know what the second one's called yet? Whatever Infinity War Part 2, whatever.
We don't, and they actually teased it this past week. Okay. Did you see that image?
I didn't. What was it?
You might have seen it and didn't realize it. So there was this image that they tweeted out. Actually, I forget who exactly tweeted it out. It might have been Kevin Feige. It might have just been from Marvel Studios. But it looks like a picture of... or maybe it was one of the Russo brothers. But it looks like a picture of one of the like Disney Studio sets that's completely like, it's not. It doesn't even look like a set. It's just like, oh, that's a movie studio thing. But apparently, in the way that the furniture is arranged, it makes letters. And so people are trying to guess what the title of the next Avengers will be based off the letters they see in the way the furniture is arranged.
Oh, man.
People think it spells out end game and stuff like that. Like, you can find pictures of people being like, look, there's the E, there's the N, there's the, G. But there's a whole list of like, well, maybe it's this, maybe it spells that. I don't know if the G really works where you said it did, so maybe it's this instead. But they still have, no one knows right now. Long story short, no one knows, but it was a fantastic tease, because it was that picture with the caption that says, look really hard. So people were devouring it to be like, there has to be something in this picture,
Interesting.
Endgame, Avengers Assemble. People are thinking Avengers United, Avengers Annihilation. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll have some big epic name, whatever they go with. But I think when they restore the universe after that movie, the X-Men will just be part of it at that point, and that'll probably be how they explain it. Because I don't know how the hell else they would, frankly, explain it. The X-Men have been there the whole time. Because the X-Men, they're not supposed to be aliens or anything. So how would you explain it? They've just been there that whole time, and you just suddenly didn't know about them. But I'm guessing, when a lot of those dead people come back, they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, and there's also mutants."
Yeah.
Now.
So what I keep noticing is when people talk about that and they think, oh, when they do the second snap and everything goes back to normal, people keep forgetting that it's not just resetting things back to normal, but it can also technically rewrite history.
Oh yeah, he's got time travel powers and all kinds of stuff. So so
it's not like it's not the thing that all of a sudden people wake up and they have powers. It's they've had these powers for a long time.
Yeah.
The whole history of what we thought we know as the MCU has actually been rewritten. And I was listening to a podcast recently, and they were talking about this exact thing. And yeah, how will they bring the X-Men into the MCU? And they just, for some reason, that was one thing that they could not understand. Is it's not just that they snap, wake up with powers. It's that they've had these powers for years.
Yeah.
From before we even knew about Thanos. So, who knows what will happen there?
Yeah, it's a trip. But
it is.
My prediction is the people whose contracts are up are actually going to die at the end. So Cap and or Iron Man, I think they actually go out for real at the end of 2, because there has to be some death that sticks. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be I think it's going to be both of them, frankly. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I at least want Iron Man. I'm wondering if it's going to be different things for different people, right? And it's not just snap, you're dead.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen the same way. I think I don't know.
Even considering, what if Captain America goes back to, never being Captain America? He never gets the powers, and so he is now grown.
He's just 100 years old and just dies of old age.
Yeah, and maybe he's still alive, maybe he's not, but it's just he went back and he had that dance with Peggy and they lived happily ever after.
Yeah, I feel like if/when they do kill him off, they better have the end scene better be a dance hall. You have to, man. Come on.
Yeah. And then did you hear about the Disney streaming service with the limited series on Loki and Scarlet Witch?
No, I haven't been keeping up with that at all.
So, of course, everyone and their moms is making their own streaming service.
Yeah, that's why I can't keep up.
Yeah, which is absolutely ridiculous. But Disney has, they've announced that, we'll have some Marvel streaming shows and stuff like that. But that's to me, that's well, that's expected, but that's not necessarily going to make me get your thing. I still don't have DC Universe because I'm not really interested in Titans and all of that stuff. It's just I don't know. It's not working out. But they have said that they are planning to do a number of limited series focusing on side characters within the MCU, and the actors will be the same as they are in the MCU. They've already said that they're planning on doing ones for Scarlet Witch and for Loki. So Tom Hiddleston will still be Loki.
It could be cool.
Which could be really cool, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'll still get the service, but still, like, that at least has my attention, you know?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see with that. What else is happening on Marvel's side? I guess Daredevil Season 3 is about to come out.
Yeah.
And they released a new teaser and a new poster for that, which was kind of cool because the former Avengers Tower could be seen in the background of the Season 3 poster, which I guess is just a good attention to details.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't really have much else to say besides, like, oh, that's neat.
I don't really expect any crossover at this point. It's all just like references.
Not at all.
Like,
yeah.
I gave up a long time ago.
I mean, if
it.
I would still, it'd be neat to at least see it on the skyline.
Yeah,
but beyond that,
yeah, if it's gonna be a shared universe, then you have to have stuff like that.
Because they started out saying it's a shared universe.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they've kind of gotten away from that. They haven't really made much references as of late.
Yeah.
But it seems like everything, at least up through Defenders, and I guess Iron Fist Season 2 that just happened, like, not much time has passed from the events of Daredevil Season 1. It's at least been a few months, but all that was happening relatively, like, Daredevil Season 1 took place, I want to say, within a year of Avengers 1. And I don't know, like, it sounds like from everything that happened from Avengers 1 to where we are in Avengers 4 and Avengers Infinity War, whatever the fuck we're on now, has been a couple years. So I still feel like that Netflix zone is like taking a small time period. Like, it's still in the past compared to everything else. Like, we're not going to see, like, oh, Thanos has wiped out half the population, you know? Like, I doubt they're going to make reference to stuff like that. But if Avengers Tower is in there, we don't know if it's former Avengers Tower. I mean, I guess that's what's been the thing on the internet. Because in, like, up to date with the MCU movies, that's the former tower. So, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I stopped worrying about trying to piece together the timeline a long time ago. As long as they're telling good stories, I'm not gonna, like, even worry about, like, when they happen.
Very true. Well, I mean, I have a couple more things we could talk about, but I don't want to keep you from family time and dinner.
I got a few minutes. I got a few minutes.
Important.
Yeah.
Well, we'll save that for next week, then.
Cool.
We'll talk about some more stuff next week, and we'll keep this one short and sweet. I think we kind of skipped out on housekeeping earlier on since we had so many technical difficulty stuff. So let's do housekeeping right now, and then we'll wrap it up. You just by time this goes public, episode 3 of the Wolverine Chronicles will be out, which is the fan film series that you are starring in.
It's true.
That is on Ironforge Films on YouTube.
Yep.
Correct?
Correct, Mundo.
Cool. We will have that link in the description on as a podcast and on the description on YouTube as well. So go check that out. And then we've been kind of campaigning for YouTube and Twitch followers. We could use a lot of help with that. I think on YouTube and on Twitch, we're around like 20 or 23-ish. So if we can get to 25 on all of those, that would be fantastic. That's not much more. So we could absolutely do that very quickly here, hopefully.
Definitely.
So go follow us on YouTube and Twitch. You can search for the Whatnauts podcast on YouTube and find our channel there. And you can go to twitch.tv/the Whatnauts, and you can follow us on Twitch and normally catch this show live each Friday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I guess that's 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time.
The correct time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And last but not least, iTunes reviews on wherever you listen to this as a podcast. We would absolutely love some new reviews. We have brand new RSS feeds, so all of the previous reviews we had when we used to be called just the Whatnauts are no longer there. And we could absolutely use your help. So if you like this show, please throw us a bone. Send us a good review. We would absolutely love it. That's how more people will discover this show, and we can stay up on the charts in iTunes, and that will absolutely help us out. And I said last but not least, but I guess that was not true. This is last but not least. If you like this show or any of the other shows that we do here at The Whatnauts, head on over to patreon.com/The Whatnauts. And you can support us for as little as $1. And you can get some cool perks there, including early episodes. And you can help us save up for new equipment and stuff like that. All of the money that you guys send goes back into these podcasts to help make them bigger and better.
Just
and
like Batman.
So on and so forth. Yeah, just like Batman. Just like eating the right mushroom.
Oh, man. See, we brought it back around. We brought it right back
around. It back around. We are... we are good like that. Anyways, that is where we will wrap things up for this week. This has been episode 23 of The Captain's Log. We will see you guys next week. Adios.